Well, this summer, like I said, Sergiño Dest missed the Copa America. And when he was out, a certain Joe Scally had to fill those boots. And look, he has talked about how he's still young and he still has to learn a lot. But you know what? He's doing quite well in the Bundesliga. He has been enjoying some time there with Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's actually heading into his fourth Bundesliga season with them right now. He talks about how last year was not exactly the best when they had to fight for relegation. But you know what? That makes you battle hardened, and it was so good to catch up with him to talk about how things have been going for the club as well as for his country and what the experience this summer at the Copa America was like.
Here is Scally chasing the American teenager named on the Golden Boy shortlist. Had a real breakout season last year. Joe Scally, to Joe Scally. This is Joe Scally. And the shot is off the bar this time. Joe Scally got a cup goal last week. Joe Scally to bludgeon goal number 8 for Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for chatting with us. Always a pleasure to catch up with you after what was especially a busy summer and getting ready for a new Bundesliga that will be on ESPN. As we said, fourth season for you now at Mönchengladbach, fifth overall in Germany. So it's kind of like a home for you right now. Yeah. Physically, mentally, how is the off season for you, and how do you find yourself heading into what's going to be a lot of football to be played this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. 4 years now, or 5, like you said. I never really looked back at it, but yeah, it's going good. I'm excited for the new season. It's it's the same as always, but you get this excitement from being off for a while from club soccer and then coming back, being with the guys. It's very nice. Of course, in the summer break that you get, you always want more time. I had 3 weeks, which it's never enough. You always want those extra 1 to 2 weeks, but it was very nice. Spent it just in the States with my family, so it was good.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I haven't had a break at all, so I'll happily take those 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But like we said, Bundesliga coming around again. The game that we do have on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus, no precious on the big station, will be your game up against Bayer Leverkusen, the champions that I think shocked everybody last season under Xabi Alonso, and now they picked up where they left off, winning the German Super Cup. So a bit of a test there for you. How do you approach this one?
Yeah, of course. It's definitely a big test. I mean, for myself, I've, always looked forward to games like this. I think coming off the summer, that I've had in these big games with this, different type of energy and this feeling, I'm definitely excited, because like I said, those 3 weeks are enough, but those 3 weeks are still long where, you miss the games and you miss that feeling of playing in front of all the fans and everything like this. So to come out first game on Friday night, against the champions, is going to be something very special, and I think the whole team and especially myself is looking forward to it.
Well, like I said, you're going to be at home, so you'll have the home crowd. Yeah. Whether that adds more pressure or help, I guess we will wait and see. But what do you think is going to be key to probably getting the better of Leverkusen, especially at the rate they're going? It seems like mentally, they are so strong. Yeah,
for sure. I think they only lost 1 game last season. They haven't lost a domestic game in a year now. We got a draw against them last season at their place. So I think we could also take that positive, point with us from last season and what we kind of did in that game and bring it to this game. And of course, home with our fans in the first game, there's going to be a different type of energy that I think we can also feed off this.
Overall, seeing what they were able to do last season as well, because for so long, whenever we spoke about Bundesliga, everyone said it was just Bayern or Borussia Dortmund. But to see them kind of bring that extra factor in the league, does it just show that overall, as you live it and feel it, how competitive the Bundesliga has become? Do you feel like it's gotten even more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Stuttgart came in second place. It wasn't even Dortmund or Bayern. So the league has definitely gotten much, much better since I've been here. Different teams obviously winning now, fighting for the top. So, the teams are growing, the league is growing, the fan bases are unbelievable. So it's definitely, I would put it up there.
Well, as you know, there's always a fight at the top, but there's always a bigger scrap at the bottom. We know you guys got a little taste of that last season. You did manage to save yourselves. I know it is an uncomfortable experience because of the pressure, and of course, nobody wants to get relegated. But now going into this season, what did you learn, I suppose, from that fight? Does it kind of help you approach this season with no fear almost? Because it's like, look, we've been to the trenches, we survived, and we're back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no one wants to be, in that spot. I spoke to, Brendan Aronson, who was a good friend of mine, and we were just joking, or not joking about it, but talking about it in the camp in March, how every game was a fight, even though it always should be and always is. But it was a different feeling almost, when you're fighting at the bottom, because it's like not life or death, but it's either you're staying up or you're going down, which no one wants to play a whole season in the second division. So we never really were getting that sense of like, okay, this is serious, but towards the end it was, but we always had the trust in ourselves and the trust in our team that it was never going to get to that scary point, which it almost did. But now coming into this new season, we know that we can just give everything, and we have enough quality in the team that it shouldn't even be a factor towards the end.
What do you think it's going to take to fully avoid that, to say comfortably stay up this season?
Yeah, I think last season we had so many games where we were winning, and then unfortunately just got conceded stupid goals or dumb goals towards the end of the game. I think that's something that we can definitely change. We had a young team. We still have a young team, but now, most of the guys have a season or two under their belt. So that's very important to us. And I think that that'll kind of build us on, and that we can hold those leads and get more points.
And in terms of for you on a personal level, because I know earlier on in the summer you had said that, playing time is always your priority, that you want to keep playing more and more, that nothing really beats that feeling. You played pretty much all but about 3 games, I think it was, last season. So how do you feel your progress has kind of evolved at Mönchengladbach? Is it exactly where you want it to be?
Yeah, of course. I think with the playing time that I'm getting, like I said, there's nothing that beats that. So to gain this experience and keep playing, and as the league's getting better, as a player, you get better. So it's so important to play in these games, just get that experience.
And you've had a couple of highlights. I know you had a debut against Bayern, which is always, big lights on it. But you also had a nice cheeky goal against Mainz where you kind of did the celebration that, hushed certain critics up. What's been the biggest highlights, I suppose, so far of your time at Mönchengladbach? And is it either of those two? And why is it the goal?
Honestly, okay, I would put the goal second. Honestly, first was when we had a cup game here and we played Bayern and we won 5-0. I think this has to be the highlight, because this was crazy, because seeing the draw in the second round, normally you don't want to get this type of team, and we get Bayern who won I want to say the treble the year before, and we come out and we just smash them 5-0. I think this is I think my highlight.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think many people get to smash Bayern 5-0. So that definitely was nice. And one of the things that you do see, well, we were talking about that goal against Mainz. Obviously, it's something that's so unexpected given your position. But you talked about how you've had to adjust, in different roles, whether, it's like more of a right center back, right wing back, etc. You've had to adjust to different playing styles, different managers in all of your seasons so far. What do you feel now? This is your second season under Jerry. What do you feel he's asking of you this season, or how it's shaping together in terms of the identity of this team?
Yeah, I think this season he's definitely given me more of the freedom to do what I feel is necessary and build up, whether to come in as a 3 or keep that 4 and keep that width on the side. So I think that gives me a lot of freedom in building up the game and just, progressing going forward. So this is something that I think will change and elevate my game this season. And that's something I'm looking forward to.
And in terms of goals for this upcoming season, I know we said we're not trying to go back and fight in the trenches. That's obvious. But in terms of pushing for European spots as well, is that realistic? Do you kind of have that as a target?
Internally, it's always something we talk about. I think every team talks about it. But, for us, we just want to keep progressing as a team. Like I said, we're young, but we still have that season or two under our belt. So I think finishing in the single digits, and then, of course, in the single digits, everything's close from 6 to 9. So I think that it's always reachable, but first we need to focus on just winning the games.
All right. Well, definitely want to now just quickly transition to talk about US men's national team. Of course, one of the reasons why I had no break this summer was because I spent the time covering you guys in Copa America. I know it was an experience that, of course, didn't go your way. It ended probably a lot sooner than everybody would have wanted. How do you kind of look back at that experience? Is it one that you just kind of push to the back of your mind and try to forget, or was it a significant enough, I suppose, hurt that it sometimes helps to have it to now use as a springboard to move forward?
I mean, for me personally, it's definitely in my head. I look at it almost yeah, for myself that it was positive to play the games finally in a big competition for my country. I take a lot of pride in that, and the weeks after, even now, I look back and I miss that feeling. As I said, of that playing for the national team or just playing in high pressure games, it's an adrenaline rush that is amazing. So even now, I think about the Uruguay game and that feeling of going onto the field and the pressure, just yeah, everything. It was definitely I think a positive thing for myself, for the team. Of course, it's not what we wanted to do, but I think we're definitely learned a lot from it.
And I said, you definitely got to play quite a few games, especially with the US going up against, in the pre-matches as well, going up against the likes of, Luis Diaz with Colombia, James Rodriguez, as well as the game against Brazil, where you had Vinny Jr. in your back pocket. Word is he's still not come out yet. But on a personal level as well, even though the Copa America didn't go exactly how you guys wanted, do you feel like it was a bit of a breakout summer for you on a personal level for the national team?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, you look at the team first and you want to progress as a team, because if the team progresses, you progress as a player, you get better, you play in better games. But yeah, personally playing the 5 games, almost 90 minutes for all of them, it was something that I think now the fans can also get behind me, the players, and everything like that. So I definitely have a lot of confidence going into the next camp and all the camps forward. So it's something that I really needed.
Well, the big miss going into the Copa America was when we found out that, Sergiño Dest wasn't going to be a part because of his unfortunate injury. And I know you spoke about that and what it would be like to try and fill those shoes, especially because, you were young. You said that you would love to learn, of course, from him, especially because he's such an attacking player in that position, which is, the modern football now everyone likes when you're going forward and playing out from the back. How do you think you did? How do you feel you did? I suppose trying to balance that attacking flow and going forward, but also kind of staying true to defending.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, me and him are different players. We're two different type of fullbacks. I guess you could say I'm more traditional, where yeah, my defense and attack is balanced. I'm not heavy sided on one. So I didn't try to replicate what he did. I just played my game. And, of course I knew these games were going to be, more back and forth. It wasn't just going to be us attacking. So to be able to just do both and get my confidence from the defending side, which led to the attacking. It's not like I had assists or something crazy like goals, but just to get that feeling of putting in a couple of good crosses every half and things like this, it's definitely it was a positive feeling for me.
Well, as we said, after the Copa America, there was the news that, Greg is no longer going to be leading the US men's national team. What were your thoughts on that when you heard it happen? Did you feel like the timing of it was right for a change, especially after quite a few cycles under Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I wasn't really looking too much into it, to be honest. When you're on these off seasons, these vacations, you kind of just want to get your, head away from soccer. And I really didn't look too much into it, didn't read too much into it. I kind of just was chilling with my family on the beach and stuff and relaxing. So to me, I didn't really follow the news all about it.
What is something, I suppose, about his tenure that probably would stay with you in terms of one of the best things probably that you learned with him?
Yeah, I think going into this summer, he really put, I don't want to say pressure on me, but really gave me a good talk about this is what I need to do to be in the team and to play. And I think that's something that I've gained a lot of confidence from, is just, trusting in my own abilities and knowing that, I am a good enough player to do these things, to defend, to attack. So I think that's one thing I'll take from him, is just to trust in myself.
One of the things that, we talk a lot about this US men's national team, and Greg spoke about it as well, is that you guys really are a unit. It's like a brotherhood, and it's not just putting on for show. There's such an understanding of each other, their roles. You enjoy playing together as well. Would you feel like that was something that Greg helped to build that culture there? Or is it something that, you, the players, also have on your own, that we could kind of see this continue, even though he's not head coach anymore?
Yeah, of course, a little bit of both. Of course, he instilled a good culture within the group, but at the same time, having a group of players who are all a similar age, we all like the same things. It's not like we have, of course, we have Tim Ream, but then everyone else is kind of in the same age group. So when you have that, it's pretty much everyone's friends. It's not like you have, a bunch of different people doing different things. It's just Tim, the only guy with, of course, a bunch of other people have families also, but in that age bracket is what I want to say. So it'll continue on.
Oh, poor Tim. We just low-key called him old.
Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. He's an absolute veteran, an absolute legend. But you know what? He's still out there kicking it. So
yeah,
we
exactly.
do love us too. Well, coming in now, of course, is the news of Mauricio Pochettino. And I'm not going to lie, I'm from Jamaica. We announced a new coach just 2 weeks ago with Steve McLaren. And I was excited. And when the news of Pochettino's U.S. men's national team came out, I was like, not going to lie, I'm a bit jealous because, look, Mauricio Pochettino is such a respected name, at least in club football. Of course, this will be his first national team stint. But what was your reaction on that signing and to have you guys, be associated with someone of the pedigree of Poch?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely crazy, to hear the name and to know that he will be the coach or when it gets announced and everything like this. So it's exciting as a player. You want to prove to him that, you are better or the same as the players that he's coached before. I think that's something that really stands out because he's coached some of the best players in the world. So to have him there and giving us instructions, on and off the field, I think it's going to be very important and good for the group.
What do you hope he will bring so that it kind of takes you guys to that next level?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, I think we have such a good group, and now once we all get on the same page, all have this philosophy, whatever he brings in or whatever he wants us to do, I think we have to really buy into it and trust it, and then I think we'll be really good.
And how quickly do you feel, I know you definitely have some experience that just on the club level to adapt to different styles in such a quick time under different managers and whatnot, but how quickly do you think you guys as a unit will be able to adapt to whatever style he decides to bring or whatever he does bring? Because it may be limited time. We know there's not that many international windows as we think of going forward to the World Cup. We're now hearing that he probably won't be able to make it for the September or October international windows. Is that a slight worry for you, or is it just not really a big deal in your opinion?
I mean, I don't want to say it's a worry. I think once he's there, I think it's going to get, right to work. I think everyone's going to buy into it. Everyone's going to trust it. So I think it's, of course, time is limited and we don't have this many, I don't want to say important games, but these games that, aren't friendlies. Yeah, so it is limited time, but I think once he's there, it's going to be right to work.
Well, believe it or not, that was just a little nugget of the full chat that I had with Joe. You can listen to it all in its entirety on the Football Americas podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Anyways, Herc, let's look at some of the numbers. And like I was saying, he has just progressed nicely season after season after season at Mönchengladbach. As he said, he almost forgot it had been that long, and it really is feeling like a home to him. He played pretty much all but 3 games for Mönchengladbach last season, so he has become a consistent starter for them and a consistent player. And I think it's showing, which is probably why he got the nod to fill in for Sergiño Dest this summer at the Copa America. But what do you make of his progression?
Let's take it into pieces here. Sergiño Dest goes down, and it's either you revert back to Shaq Moore, who ended up playing more during the World Cup, or you say, Joe Scally, come on up, take your throne. This is yours now. Take advantage of this opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so he did. If you go back and you look at the winners and losers of this summer, the lead-up games to Copa America, and then the tournament itself, there are very, very few bright spots, few positives, few winners, if you will, out of that camp. And yet, I would say Joe Scally is one of them. Mm-hmm. Look at the maturation of Joe Scally. And he's been around with the national team, but never really gotten that run, never really been trusted. And great interview, by the way, Alexis, because when you spoke to him, he mentioned not only the fans trusting him, but his teammates trusting him. And that's important for a footballer. When you know you have the respect, the trust of your teammates. He earned that. He earned that by playing against Luis Diaz. He earned that by playing against Vinny Jr. He earned that by playing against, who was it? Maxi Lopez of Uruguay. He earned that. He's earned that in the 3 years at Gladbach, where he's played as a right back, a wing back, on the left as a wing back. He said in your interview that he's played as a 3. That means a center back. That means you are now a center back, tucking in as a center back. So this is a player that keeps maturing in a plethora of players that are regressing on the U.S. men's national team. Look at his counterpart, his best friend, Giovanni Reyna. He doesn't have this growth. I talk about his ceiling all the time. I wish he had this growth. Plan an action. Put it in there. This is Joe Scally. So Joe Scally now taking advantage of that and talking about what he wants. And he was very respectful of Greg Berhalter and what he did. But I think he's also conscious. He said, yeah, Greg Berhalter brought in a good culture, but what kind of culture do you really need when we're all the same age group? Sans, Tim Ream, who's the grandpa of the team. So he's just giving us a dose of reality, what this group was and is, and now what it can be with Pochettino. And I think that's where it gets interesting, because this is a player that, let's be honest, didn't have an easy go of it with Greg Berhalter. Didn't have the easiest of times. Even when Sergiño Dest was struggling, it wasn't Joe Scally getting an opportunity. And when it was with the B team, the C team, these one-offs, situations that are very difficult for a young player to really seize. So Mauricio Pochettino is not just a new opportunity for U.S. men's national team fans to see the growth, but for Joe Scally as well to say, hold on a second, Poch. I know we have Sergiño Dest, but he's injured. I'm here, I'm healthy, and I'm playing. Hand up.
With that said, quick question then, because with all this progression, is he enough right now to replace Sergiño Dest?
Sergiño Dest wasn't enough sometimes for the U.S. men's national team to replace his own Sergiño Dest expectations. We're not too far removed from him not playing at Barcelona, not playing at Milan. He had a ridiculous time at PSV, club level. But it's no problem saying the Eredivisie, there comes a tax with it. Certain liberties you could take. He certainly wasn't tested as much. Well, with the national team, we saw him tested, and we saw some very rough moments from Sergiño, the Trinidad and Tobago game, which was a learning moment for Sergiño Dest. So this whole enough thing, I think Joe Scally right now with Sergiño Dest's injury, I don't think Pochettino's coming into this and saying, well, let me respect Sergiño Dest's place, even though he's injured. He doesn't have equity with Pochettino. Nobody does. So if I'm Joe Scally, I'm saying the hell with this. I'm sorry, my man, but this is my life too, and I'm going to have a crack at it.
Well, he put in a shift this summer, and he's going to have to put in a shift this weekend, because Bundesliga is back on ESPN, and you can catch Joe Scally in action for Mönchengladbach. But, it's not going to be easy, Herc. They are up against the champions and the freshly crowned German Cup winners, Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. It's on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus this weekend at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.